Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back into Studio B. My name is Jyoti Bainey, and this is a beginner's Vinyasa practice all about anchoring your anxiety. If you're anything like me, when you are in an active experience of anxiety, you get a little bit trapped in the head. You're thinking about what's coming, or you're dwelling on the past. You're stuck up here in your thought, and you might lose access to the body. So in this practice, we're going to get out of our heads, into our bodies, and start to bring that energy from this swirling chaotic space up here down, down, down. So we'll start meeting the anxiety right where it is. So standing up, I'm going to stay facing you here in the center of my mat, and we're going to start with shaking. So start to bounce the knees. You can let the arms totally relax. You don't need to force the shaking. You're just letting kind of that rippling of the body happen. So wrists get a little bouncy, elbows bouncy, shoulders bouncy, everything is bouncy. You might sort of swap the weight from side to side. And you're just letting everything go. And you can think of this as kind of like breaking up anything that's stuck. We're starting to encourage that anxiety to shake on down. And then we'll switch this shaking to a little bit different. So I'm going to take my feet a little bit wider. I'm going to rise up a little bit on the balls of my feet and then again start bouncing again. And this form of shaking just feels a little bit different. Also challenges the balance. Shaking is one of those things that we know scientifically helps us to reset the nervous system. It helps to get rid of excess adrenaline, gets rid of excess muscle tension. So it is really a great physiological way to help encourage that anchoring of the anxiety. And then let that stop, pause for a moment, keeping those feet nice and wide. We're going to move into what we call the American swing. So starting by just rocking from side to side, letting the knees be soft. It's almost like a little dance. This is one of my favorite warm-ups from the stress management practices. And then as you kind of like keep going, swinging from side to side, let the upper body join you. Let the arms, you're not really controlling the arms in any way. You're letting the natural inertia of the movement swing the arms. And you might notice they start to kind of tap the sides of the body. Again, you're just letting the natural inertia of the movement take over the body. Nice deep breaths here. And maybe we're going to go for about 30 more seconds. See if you can bring your awareness down into the legs and the feet. So feeling that weight shift from side to side. Feeling those points of contact on the earth. Just becoming aware. That's all you got to do. Just notice the feet on the earth and keep swinging. 10. Let's do 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just let yourself stop, come to center. Maybe close the eyes for a moment. You might notice a sense of this swirling energy around you. And yet also recognizing here you are, standing in the middle of it all. And again, bring that awareness to the soles of the feet. They're grounded. They're stable. They're not going anywhere. And then let's open the eyes and we'll start to move into a little bit of our flow practice here. So I'm going to transition to the front of the mat. You can see I've got a couple blocks here because I just love having those as an extra hand of support in the practice. They're not a requirement, okay? So finding the feet this time about hip distance apart. We're going to move into a few half salutations, nice and slow. As you inhale, circle, sweep the arms out and up towards the ceiling. And then softening the knees as you fold forward down towards the ground. As we lift up to a half lift, bend your knees, drop your hips, and then reach your arms long and out in front of you so your spine and your arms create like an elongated table. Think of reaching any anxiety that's out in front of you, and this just gently, as you fold forward, pull that anxiety down towards the ground. Circle, sweep the arms out, rising all the way up to the ceiling. And bring the hands in towards your heart center. Let's do 2 more, just like that. Inhale, reaching out and up. Take any anxiety that's up there floating around. Gently invite it to come down into the body towards the floor. As you lift up halfway, bend your knees, drop those hips, reach the arms forward, tabletop spine. And fold back in. Maybe you soften the knees as you rise up to standing. And hands to heart center. One more time. So you inhale to reach up. You're gathering that anxiety. And you're saying, why don't you come down? Just a gentle invitation, not forcing, just inviting. Bend the knees, drop the hips, reach the arms. And fold in. Circle sweep those arms out and up. And palms together. We're going to add on, moving into some really grounded sun salutations. Circle sweep those arms out and up. And folding forward. Soften your knees. Step your left foot to the back of your mat. Let the left knee settle in. I'm going to use blocks here on my hands, up on my fingertips, so my hands are staying grounded. If you're anything like me, my arms can sometimes feel like the floor is just a little bit too far away. So having the blocks helps to actually bring the earth up to me so that I don't feel this sense of striving. I'm just really landing where my body naturally wants to land. I'm feeling supported and grounded there. One more inhale. And then a little something different today, moving the blocks out of the way if you had them. I'm going to slide my right leg straight back. Then I'm going to lift my left shin, pivot it out like a kickstand, and come up into a supported side plank, reaching the right arm to the ceiling. As I inhale, I'm going to pick my body up, turn my right toes to face the back of my mat, and bend my right knee for what I call a baby warrior 2. Feeling that opening on the inner right thigh, but getting that extra grounding in that back leg. One more inhalation here. And then we'll windmill the arms all the way forward to the front of the mat. Spin that left shin in. And then lift your right leg up parallel to the floor and do a little micro bend in the elbows. Push the floor away. Lower the right knee, melt back to child's pose. Take that little vinyasa on the second side. Shift forward to all fours, left leg up. Bend the elbows and micro bend. Elbows skim the sides of the ribs. Press up. Knee down, child's. Inhale, shift forward to all fours. Take your left thumb to right thumb. Step your left foot forward. Finding that low lunge on the second side, and I'm going to bring those blocks back underneath my fingertips. So throughout the course of these sun salutations, we're going to be taking these baby versions of poses as a way to actually lower the center of gravity in the shapes and invite that kind of anxious, floaty, sometimes volatile energy to calm down, anchoring it closer to the earth, deeper into the body like the pelvis and the legs. Moving those blocks out of the way, slide that left leg back, extending it. You'll pick up the right shin, pivot it out like a kickstand, and briefly find that supported side plank variation. Like there's a puppet string attached to your left fingertips. Reach up. Turn your left toes to face the back of your mat and drop into that baby warrior 2, getting that stretch in the left inner thigh. Focusing on the middle finger of that left hand. Really trying not to let the mind wander too much, but really giving it something focused to anchor the attention. Then windmill the arms back to the front of the mat. We'll repeat that vinyasa pattern as you spin the right shin in, lift your left leg up, micro bend those elbows, Collarbones stay broad. Press up, knee down, child's. Inhale forward. Lift the right leg, micro little bow. Press up, child's. We'll find our way to downward facing dog here. Shift to all fours, tuck the toes, lift the seat towards the sky, maybe keeping those knees bent. And we're going to invite in that bouncing energy here. So bouncing the heels and just letting the body shake a little bit. Thinking of this bouncing, sort of drawing the energy down into the earth, tethering it so it doesn't quite feel so volatile and uncontained. And then find some stillness here. We'll move through a second round of our sun salutations, lowering the knees to the mat. I'm going to step my right foot forward. You could repeat the hands on the floor or the blocks, or walk them up onto the right thigh. And then as we're here, I actually want you to push the hands down into the right thigh and gently draw the torso back a little bit. So you feel that energy of the hands moving down. Feel the top of that left foot pushing into the mat. And then we'll move through that next pattern. Hands down, sweep the right leg back, lift the left shin, and pivot open to your supported side plank. Lifting up, turn the right toes to face the back of the mat. Supported baby triangle pose, right hand to right shin. Or you could resource yourself with a block here, hand on the block. If you'd like to open up a little bit more space in the side body, maybe sweeping that left arm overhead. And then for an optional challenge here, you can lift the right arm, wrap the right arm in front of the body, holding the left side of the waist. Last breath here. And then windmilling the arms forward. Spin the left shin in, and we'll take those little bows. Lift the right leg, maybe the bows deepen. Pressing up, knee down, child's. Shifting forward, left leg, and bow. And up, and child's. Second side, left foot comes forward. Hands could be on the mat, on blocks, or up on the left thigh. If you're choosing to have them on the left thigh, push the hands down into the left thigh. Let the torso draw back. Feel the energy of the arms anchoring down. What I like about the imagery of anchoring is, on the one hand, if you think of a ship, the anchor, when it's dropped, keeps a ship in place. It anchors it, literally. That's where the verb anchoring comes from. Let's move on here. Hands come down. Extend your left leg back. Spin out your right kickstand. Find that supported side plank for a breath. And then we float up. I'm going to bring my block with me. As we come into that supported triangle, my left toes turn back. And then I lower the left hand. It could come to the shin or maybe to the block here, right arm up. So baby Trikonasana. And then maybe sweeping the right arm overhead. I love how that brings that sensation down into the waist a bit more. And then final breath, you have that option to wrap the left arm, almost like giving yourself a hug here, holding onto the right side of the waist, challenging the obliques, and then windmilling all the way up, and we'll take that little vinyasa pattern. Left leg up. You might find as the arms find their strength, the bow gets slightly deeper, or maybe the arms get tired and you actually take the bow out and you just do the extended table. And up. We'll come into our downward facing dog, tucking the toes, Lifting the seat, finding some stillness, no bouncing this time. So again, that anchor can drop down, finding the ocean floor, stabilizing the ship, keeping it where it wants to be for as long as it wants to be there. But then when it's time to move on, the anchor can actually be picked up and it delivers freedom and choice to the ship to be able to move on and change and evolve and go where it needs to go next. Third and final sun salutation round, dropping the knees, stepping that right foot forward. Now you have multiple options. You could have the hands on the floor or blocks. They could be up on the thighs, pressing down. Or for this final option, you could reach the arms towards the ceiling. And I want you to think of reaching up, gathering any anxious energy. Just gather it up and say, I'm inviting you to calm down. I'm inviting you to be anchored right now, giving you a stable, secure place to be. Not forcing, just inviting. And then lowering the hands down, let the right leg sweep back. And listening carefully here, we will spin out our left kickstand, find that supported side plank, but we're gonna stay right here as we come into baby half moon pose, floating the right leg up parallel to the floor. Really flex those right toes. Feel that outer right hip, IT band, the whole length of the right leg active. And then to challenge the balance, you might start to rotate your gaze up towards the right fingertips and the ceiling. And then we'll come into baby Chalpasana, sugarcane pose, bending the right knee, dropping the right hand to the big toe side of the foot, and then pushing the foot into the hand. Let the right shoulder roll onto the back and pivot the heart, the torso up towards the ceiling. And as much as you're looking up, you're feeling this sense of anchored support through all of the points of contact on your mat. And then gently release. Lower that right hand. We'll move through those little sunbird bows. Right leg stays up. Take your bow or skip it if the arms are tired. Right knee down, take your child's. Shifting forward, left leg and bow. And press, and child's. Shifting forward, left foot forward, remembering all those options, fingertips down on blocks, on the thigh, or reaching up. Knowing that so much about becoming a more experienced practitioner is being able to make the right choices for yourself, even if they're different than what I'm doing. So you know where you need to be right now. And wherever you are, inviting that anxious energy to calm down, find a safe place to land. And then the hands come down, left foot slides back. You're going to find that supported side plank by spinning out that right shin, left arm reaches up. And then moving into that baby Ardha Chandrasana, floating that left leg up parallel to the floor. And I really feel that left glute, the left IT band, left foot, all really active and working. And then to challenge my balance, I slowly, not abruptly, slowly pivot the gaze. And then Ardha Chandrasana, little baby sugarcane, bend the left knee. Drop that left hand back to the big toe side of the foot. Let the shoulder melt like butter on a hot pan onto the back. The heart pivots open. Such a great opportunity for deep breath. And then gently releasing. Last little run through of these sunbird bows, spinning that right shin in. Remember, you could skip this little push-up. Left knee down, child's. Second side, right leg up. Elbows skim the ribs.
and back. Downward facing dog. Finding stillness. And I'd like to invite you to open your eyes here. Look at that space in between the two big toes. Keeping the eyes open and alert. So you're actually giving a visual for where that anxious energy can travel to. Calming down into the parts of the body that are anchored and in contact with the earth. This sense of being in communion with the earth. Being connected, not untethered like anxiety can so often feel. And then let's lower the knees to the mat. Take a moment in hero's pose. So if your hips don't naturally or comfortably settle on the heels, take a block, put it in between the feet, and sit on that block for a few breaths. Moving into the back bending portion of our practice, we're going to engage with some spinal breathing, also known as cat and cow, upright, and we'll take that into a nice deep back bend of camel pose. So let's lift up onto the knees, hips are stacked right over the knee points, and circle sweep the arms out and up towards the ceiling. As you inhale, let the arms float back, the spine opens into your back bend or your cow. And then as you exhale, round the spine like cat, reach forward and let the hips float back so you feel the thighs kind of, ooh, they wake up. Let's do 4 more. Inhale, up and open. Exhale, close. Feel those thighs engage. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. 2, inhale. Exhale. Inhale up, listen carefully, circle sweep the hands to the low back, inner elbows together, finding an upright Utstrasana camel pose. Gently bracing the head so that we're not just collapsing the weight of the skull back. We don't want to compress the vertebra of the neck. We're still supporting and strengthening the neck here. Full deep breaths. And then letting an inhalation pick you up. We'll settle back into hero's pose. Maybe you put that block back between the heels or just settle the pelvis onto the heels and pause. Feeling the breath come into the body and knowing that you're breathing in. Feeling the breath exit the body and knowing that you are breathing out. And then we'll repeat that back bending sequence one more time. Rising up onto the knees. Inhale, circle sweep those arms. Finding that cow position in the back bend. And then rounding the spine, finding your cat, feeling the thighs work. Up and open. Close and contract. With the breath. Two more, inhale. Circle sweeping the arms, letting them find the low back, supported Utstrasana. Maybe you slide the hands down the back of the thighs. Really externally rotating the arms, bracing the head, and breathing. Keep lifting the heart. And then coming all the way up, sitting down, hero's pose. Breathing in, you're aware that you're breathing in. Breathing out, you're aware that you're breathing out. Breathing in, I am aware that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I am aware that I am breathing out. Opening the eyes if you close them, shifting to a forward folding practice. I'm going to turn to face your glorious faces. We're going to come into butterfly pose. So soles of the feet together. And this is admittedly a shape that is a little bit tougher in my body. My body doesn't naturally drop into this shape. So I'm going to really bring my support system in the form of blocks. I'm going to place a block under each of my knees because this just helps me to feel, again, that sense of support coming up to me and me not needing to strive. So this sense of being held, sometimes when we're in a state of anxiety, we feel not held at all. So this can be really helpful. Holding onto either big toes or ankles. I'm going to hold on to my ankles today. As you inhale, that breath in is going to lengthen the spine. And as I exhale, I'm all the way from my pelvis starting to lean forward, drawing my heart forward, my spine forward. And then when my body says, okay, I need to round, then I'm going to let the spine round, let the head drop. And because I know my practice is coming to a close, I'm using this to start to send a message to the body to move into relaxation. I'm really not going to be pulling on the body here. I'm not actively trying to get myself deeper. I'm just allowing myself to be a body in this shape that is breathing. So much of anxiety can be a constant striving to achieve something, to fix something, to do something, instead of allowing. So one of the ways we can use our practice to help give that anxiety a safe place to be is by really cultivating this sense of allowing. Anchoring and allowing. And then slowly lifting the head, lengthening the spine, coming up. I'm going to move my support system of the blocks, sliding them out of the way, close my left thigh over my right, turn my torso to the right, and find an upright twist here. Pretty gentle. You could stay up on the fingertips, or if you would like to lower to the forearms for a few breaths, you could do that as well. Making sure that as you twist, you're not shortchanging the breath. And then coming up onto the palms, we will transition through that butterfly pose. Maybe pause for a breath here. And then right thigh over left, hands and torso turn to the left, staying either upright on the palms or lowering gently onto the forearms. And then walking the hands up, opening the knees, last breath in that butterfly. And then we're going to return to the hero's pose for Yoga Mudra. Yoga Mudra is not a pose. It's not known as an asana. Mudra means seal in Sanskrit. So we're sealing the energy from this practice, this anchoring, allowing energy into the body so that we have it to access for the rest of the day. I'm going to place a block in front of me, which is where my forehead is going to land. I'm going to bring my hands on my low back and gently hold onto the opposite wrist. And then with that open hand, I just put two of my fingers together, again, just closing the circuit of that seal. As you inhale, lengthening the spine. And then as you exhale, hinging forward, letting the forehead land on the block. And then on your next inhale, making it the slowest movement of today's practice, lengthen out and all the way up. Returning to a comfortable seat. And when you arrive there, you can release the bind, place the hands on the lap, and notice the balance that you've created through your practice. And then we'll make our way onto our backs for Shavasana. We'll do about a 2-minute Shavasana today. I'm going to again use my blocks and I'm going to place them right underneath my thighs and the back of my knees. Allowing the body to go to sleep so that the mind can stay awake and alert. And as you rest here in quiet, reminding yourself that rest is also part of the practice, and that you are worthy of rest. Allowing subtle movement and deeper breath to re-enter the body. And then in your own way and in your own time, making your way back up to a comfortable seat. Remembering that sometimes the practice is giving the anxiety a safe place to land, knowing that it's not something we can necessarily control or always change, but we can give it an anchored place to exist, or we allow it to be as it is. Thank you so much for joining me for this anchoring anxiety practice. I genuinely hope that it is of service. Jai Shri Sadguru Maharaj Ki.